video's life does a tool so special come to light. Rarely does a YouTuber get... okay, I can't carry on with that. Okay, what are we looking at today? Well, it's this. Have you ever seen one of these? 99% of viewers have never seen one of these before. 99% of Makita fans have never seen one of these before. What is this? What is this thing? Look at it. Look at the color. Hey, the green hammer right there. Oh, awesome. Look at it. It's like a real tool. Not a teal colored piece of plastic. But what is it? Most of you, or at least a lot of you, will have worked it out. It is, of course, a blade sharpener. How cool is this? Now, I haven't used it yet. I've had it for several months and I've just been waiting for the perfect time to start this video and dedicate some time to actually learning how to use it, because there's lots of dials and things move in all sorts of directions, and yeah, gonna take a little bit of fluffing around to dial it in for each specific blade that you need to sharpen. And it has another issue. It doesn't run on a battery. It runs, unfortunately, on 100 volts, which is not ideal in this part of the world where we use more than double that. So gonna have to come up with something there. I do have a transformer, but we have another issue, and that is it needs to be earthed. No earth pin on there. We have to earth this the old school way. I have to attach something to this. I have to put a wire on here, so I can't really use it on this bench, but we'll have a bit more of a look at it before I take it somewhere else and set up an earth on it so we can actually use this thing. If we take a look at the business end here, you'll basically see it is a grinder with a small diamond wheel on it here, 80 millimeters diameter, and you'll see it only has diamond on the very edge and face surface of this disc. The rest of the disc, aluminium. The grinder has a no load RPM of 5,500 revolutions per minute, and it is made in Japan. And if you want one of these, you're basically only going to be able to find one in Japan from what I can find. So if you are interested, if there are any available, I will have links down in the description. I got this one from Amazon in Japan, and at the time, with the research I had done, I thought these were no longer made, and I'm not sure if they are or not, but I had found evidence that they hadn't been made for around 10 years. But then I found this one on Amazon, just one available, last one, and I thought, I'm going to have to buy it. My wife was not impressed, but eventually, I was going to say eventually I convinced her, but I didn't, I just bought it. This is one of the most expensive Makita tools I have ever purchased, and one of the rarest, but perhaps not as rare as I thought, because I have seen a couple of them available again now. Last time I looked, there was 2 available from Amazon, so if you are interested, get in quick down there on the link. I stumbled upon this completely by accident. I just happened to be looking for something else on Amazon, and bam, up this popped, and I thought, hello. For a few days I ummed and ahed, and eventually I ponied over the cash, and now I have it. Hopefully it was worth the money. Now this is a blade sharpener. Now by blade sharpener I mean circular saw blades, such as, I don't know why I'm showing you a circular saw blade. You know what a circular saw blade is, right? Well, this will sharpen blades up to 4 millimeters thick and between 120 millimeters and 500 millimeters. So I've got the smallest blades that I'd be sharpening on this would be 125 or 5 inch, and the largest ones would be what I just showed you there, a 305 millimeter or 12 inch. I'm interested in seeing if I can sharpen this blade, because this particular blade, even though it doesn't look like it's been used much, is blunt as blunt can be. And that's not because it's a bad blade, it's because of what I was cutting with it. I was cutting this. This is a bamboo composite board, and it is full of all sorts of rubbish, and it blunts blades so quick. Whenever you go somewhere and someone tells you, oh, you just cut it with your normal blade on your miter saw or your table saw, it's all good, don't believe them. I've had lots of people say they heard the same thing. Oh yeah, bamboo composite, you just cut it like you'd cut everything else? No, you don't. and here's why. I bought my new 12-inch Makita miter saw, and it came with this blade. Within about half a dozen cuts, I was using this stuff to square it up, to set it up when I first got it. This, within a handful of cuts, destroyed. Blunt as blunt could be. So I thought, what's going on here? I didn't think properly, shall we say. I went out and bought one of these and continued to cut the same stuff. And once again, within a handful of cuts, blunt as blunt could be. So then I thought, what am I going to do? Do I go and buy cheap blades and just go through a heap of them? So I went out and purchased one of these cheap blades. But before I actually put that on to use it for the bamboo composite, I spoke to Makita, and they gave me some blades to try. One of them was this multi-purpose blade. They gave me two of these with different teeth. This one's got 81 teeth. Got another one sitting here, which I've barely used, with 96 teeth. Now I didn't use that on the bamboo composite because this one, within about 20 odd cuts, was also very, very blunt. Now they also gave me a 10-inch one of these blades, which I had a moment ago, but somehow I have managed to lose it. I don't know how. Yes, I do know how, because I do it all the time. You can see some build-up of the plasticky rubbish that they have in bamboo composite boards. These cut pretty damn good. And like I say, I got a 10-inch one that I've been using on the 270mm circular saw HS001G, and it's done a great job on that, and I can use it on the track and everything with that saw. So I basically solved the problem of what I need to cut the composite board. But I have hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of blades here, which are worth nothing. So even though this thing cost a small fortune, these blades also cost a small fortune. If I can sharpen this blade, for instance, 6 times, I've paid for this. Sharpen a blade like these 10 times, I've paid for it. And I've got a lot of old blades kicking around. Now I don't know yet if this thing is going to be able to sharpen every blade I've got. There's not a lot of gap, for instance, in a 100 tooth blade. So, you know, will this be able to get into tight spaces? I'm not sure, especially on small blades like this that have a lot of teeth. Obviously this one doesn't need sharpening because I only just purchased it. If you're after one of these 125mm blades, like I know a lot of people often are, I get asked about them quite a bit, down in the description. Also with modern blades, the teeth are often on different angles, different rake. This one here looks to be pretty much the same, but if we take a look at this Effie cut blade here, there is a lot more stuff going on. You can see the teeth are going off on different angles, so you can't just set it and go from tooth to tooth to tooth. You may have to set it on one angle, go through and do every second tooth, and then come back and do the other ones once you have set it up again. So we take a look at these. Tips are angled off different directions. So we've got different angles on the tips, we've got different angles on the faces. We have a lot of different things to consider. Hopefully this thing can take all of that into consideration. Anyway, I'll go set this up on a bench where I can hook up an earth, and then we will go through the process of setting this up and using it. Right, I have my tool here set up with my rather crude earth on my old bench. Some of you may remember, you old school watchers of tools and stuff. And I've got it hooked up to a transformer on the side here. I ran it just a moment ago and it sounded awfully fast, so I've just put a bit of tape on there. I'm just going to check the speed of this thing. 5,500 is what it says on the box. By the box, I mean the nameplate. Let's go. Well, I could hear it fluctuating a little bit, which is a bit of a worry, but it seemed to be around the 6,200 RPM mark. So a little bit more than what they say on the nameplate. Hopefully it won't cause a problem because it says max of 6,000 RPM on the disc here. The tool also came with a bag of goodies, so there's a bunch of bushings in there, a couple of plates, a couple of wrenches, different bits and pieces, and a dressing stone for the wheel. So how many of these I'm going to need when I start setting this up, I'm not sure. It looks like for a small blade, 125mm blade, I'll need that rather than this big one. Right, so I'm going to set this up. I think I also need to probably set up some better lighting. So I'll see you after this brief interlude. So I've got it all set up for this blade, all ready to go on the right angles and everything, and it took a while because I didn't know what I was doing. I had to learn every little part of this thing, and there's a lot of different adjustments. I mean, we've got two different ones under here, we've got this here, we've got this here, we've got this has to be released, pushed up and down. I had to remove this part for this size blade, and more annoyingly though, there's a heap of bushings that come with it for different blade arbor sizes, and not one for a 30mm. So I took the 30mm one off my miter saw, but that doesn't fit on there either because the center is different. This is 16mm or 5/8, and these are a little bit bigger, and I figured this little shim one here would go on the inside, and you can put it in there like that, but then you can't get it over this, so bit annoying. So in the end I had to use one of the ones that it came with a bushing in the arbor of the 30mm here to bring it down to the 25mm that particular part that came with the tool was. So a bit annoying that there wasn't a 30mm one in there because, well, most of my blades this size are going to have 30mm arbors in this country. Anyway, I am set up ready to go, but before I do go and sharpen this, I've unfortunately picked a blade that is going to be a bit tricky for the first one, because if you look at the gullets on this thing, as you will have seen before in the other shots, not very deep at all. So there's not a lot of margin of error before I'm going to hit the body of the saw rather than the teeth. Should have started with something a little easier like this, where it has a nice big gullet, so that there's less chance of knocking things around. But why start the easy way when you can start the hard way? But like I say, before I start this though, I'm going to take it back off here. That's just a case of undoing this, taking it off. It's and I'm going to do some cuts with it through the bamboo composite board, just so you can see how blunt it is. Right, I'm going to push down pretty damn hard with this. Right, so that was pushing down pretty hard. Any harder than that, I'd be worried the thing was going to end up kicking back or stalling or damaging the saw. So as you can see, she's pretty damn blunt. So I'll chuck it on the sharpener. We'll go through the process and see if I have a new blade at the end of it, or a good as new blade, or close to a good as new blade at least. Now before we start, better put some sort of mark on here, else I'll be going round and round in circles for days. Right, I will probably speed this up because, well, you don't want to see this 81 times, do you? 81's an odd number, isn't it? You think if this is done in quarters, it'd be 20 per quarter, 80 teeth, but no, 81. Made and grind. Here we go. Just going to check that those faces of the teeth are actually coming into full contact with the, which one did I just do, that one? With the grinding wheel, to make sure I'm getting enough done. Ooh, yeah. That is good. Having trouble with this lens getting it to focus properly. Damn it. We need different lens. So because I'm too lazy to go and get my other camera, I'm just using my phone here, so the audio will be out of bung because I can't be bothered setting it up on the other camera and I can't be bothered setting it up on this phone. So let's just take a look here. So you can see these teeth, they're pretty dirty. They are well used. Now if we come around to where I started sharpening, which is here, you can now see They're nice and shiny. Shiny, 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 shiny. So we are hitting it at the right angle. It seems to be sharpening them. Nice and shiny. And then, oop, back to grubby dud ones. Right, let's carry on and finish off this blade. I've put on a mask now, which I got right at the start and then forgot to actually put on. Well, that didn't take too long, but it is much louder than I want it to be. But is it any good? Mask off. Probably should leave it on for a minute actually, because there's probably a fair bit of carbide floating around the air. But it's annoying me, so it's off. Right, we'll now chuck this back on the miter saw and see what our results are. Was it all worth it? Was it worth all that money and time? Let's see. The moment of truth. Has it all been worth it? Okay, well, it was quicker. Still felt pretty slow though. Yeah, maybe I need to take a little bit more off, give it a bit more of an edge. I was tapping twice for each grind, if you paid attention. I think now we'll do the same test with the Diablo blade. What have I done with that? Now this Diablo blade, as you can see, looks pretty new. Hasn't even worn the word Diablo off. But watch how good it is at cutting this piece of 4x2 pine. Get ready for the smoke. Can't do it. It's just burning the wood, hardly cutting through it at all. This blade is knackered. And yeah, it's pretty annoying to spend 120, 130 bucks, whatever it was, on a blade and get half a dozen cuts out of it, and then it was stuffed. So let's see if we can cut this bit of wood again after giving this thing a sharp. Now the rake on the teeth on this blade are very different to the previous blade. The previous blade was -3, which means the tip is actually further back than the base of each tooth. I'll get my editor to put a diagram up here explaining the angle of the rake. So because of that, we have to do a few adjustments. Now I don't know what the angle is because I no longer have the packaging for this blade, but I should be able to work it out just by eye. Put on a good pair of glasses, make sure you get right in there, and do some adjustments down on the base to get this the right angle. So the last one was -3. This one looks to be like, well, it's definitely positive. So more like +8, something like that. We'll dial it in and we'll see what we end up with. If you know the angle, you can just put it on here. The black side is negative, the red side is positive. So we need to loosen this and we need to tweak it around to the positive side. And I need to keep an eye up here on the blade, just out of shot of course, and try and line that up by eye. So I've made my adjustments here, and we are on about 9 degrees, 8 or 9 degrees there. We need to now, up under here, set this one to the same, and we don't need to adjust the angle of the actual grinding wheel because these seem to be nice and flat, so that makes life a little bit easier. And they're all the same, even though the tips have a different grind angle on them. The actual faces are all the same, so if they were different, if the one was like that and one was like that, then I'd have to skip every second tooth, do it in 2 different passes after resetting the tool. Thankfully it doesn't look like I have to do that. Gloves on, mask on, glasses on, earmuffs on, let's go. I'm doing 3 passes this time, and I'm just doing a check here just to make sure everything looks good. Oh, nice and shiny. I do like how nice and shiny they look. Oh yeah. We might even give them 4 taps. Let's go. We'll go with 4. So I'll just redo these first ones. Well, I feel like a machine after doing that. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's now see if it is actually any better. It better be. Front of those teeth look very nice. Now I'm cutting 4x2, which is something you probably wouldn't do with an 80 tooth blade. Should have something, you know, if you're doing framing, you're not going to be using an 80 tooth blade. You'll be using a 32 or a 45 or something along those lines. This is more of a fine finish blade, but fingers crossed. No burning. As we look inside this one, you'll see it's burnt. See the black there? She was burning when it was trying to cut before. So it still cut pretty slow because, like I say, it's an 80 tooth blade. But look, it did it. Did a pretty nice job. And that's only cleaning up the faces. If I sound a bit funny, I've still got the mask on. The tips of the teeth are still a bit grubby. That's now saved a 120, 130, 150, whatever it was, dollar blade. Anyway, I've got a heap more blades to do. So going to be busy the next few nights, I think. It's a good sort of after dinner, come down and just have a play in the garage, put on the earmuffs with some music and just zone out and enjoy the art of blade sharpening. Oh, just found this blade. Look at this. These teeth are filthy. That is one grubby looking blade. Someone may or may not have been cutting bitumen building paper with this. I wonder if this will even cut a bit of wood. So this is a 10-inch blade on a 12-inch saw, so it's not going to cut all the way through, but I'm just using just going to see if it can cut, and using this bit of timber to clean the blade up a little bit, because as you saw, she's pretty grubby. Didn't cut too bad. Cut better than that Diablo that had been buggered by the bamboo stuff. So, yeah, that blade's pretty good. Just needs a good clean up. Ugh, she's still pretty grubby. Maybe I'll give that one a miss. I've got plenty of others. Whilst I have this thing set up for 12-inch blades, I may as well carry on. Now, you use this bit here to set the thickness of your blade. So if your blade, well, it's currently set on 2mm. So this one I'm not sure exactly what it is because there's no markings left on it, and it doesn't say the thickness of the blade on here. It just says the kerf, which is 2.15. So the blade's going to be a little bit thinner than that. But if you keep your packaging, these Makita ones, they'll tell you the angle, which is good because you don't have to guess it. So we've got a 10-degree rake on that particular tooth on this blade, so that helps me know what angle I need to set my machine at. But I'm not buying blades anymore. I'm going to use the ones I've got, damn it. No longer will I be a slave to the blade manufacturers. Oh, the racing's about to start. See you in a moment. Now I want to sharpen this Bosch ripping blade, 24 tooth 10-inch blade, and when you put it on here, we've got a little bit of movement in it. Okay, the arbor is a different size to this, and the arbor on this is 5/8 of an inch, or about 16mm, and unfortunately this is smaller than that, which is a bit annoying. I guess they've made it for really small blades that have 15mm arbors, because that's what this is. Comes in at around the 15mm mark, which is about 0.59 of an inch, or what's that, about 19/32 of an inch. And yeah, so it's a tad annoying because it does come with this little spacer, which does fit in the 16mm or 5/8 arbor, and it does also fit over there, but it won't do both at the same time. It's too tight to get both on, which is a bit annoying. So I'm gonna have to come up with some sort of different shim and a thinner material that I can put around to pack that out, so that I don't have that play. So that's a tad annoying. It's not too bad because I don't have many blades with holes that small. Most of them are inch or 30mm and stuff, and they're much easier to pack out with all the other packers and stuff that come with this thing, and that I've already got kicking around from other things. But that is a bit annoying, and I've just looked down in the bottom corner and seen how long this video is, so I'm going to have to wrap this up, I reckon. We can't keep going on forever. I will probably do another video on this one day, once I've had a bit more of a play with it, sharpened up a few things. But if you're interested in one of these, check it out down in the description. I will put links down there, of course. And if this is your first time here, please consider subscribing. I'll stick the links down there for that too. Well, you know where to hit that, eh? There's a little button thing underneath here, isn't there? And there's maybe something up in that top corner. Also, let me know, what do you think of this thing? Is it a bit, would you ever use one? Would you rather just buy blades? Do you take blades to someone else to get sharpened? Blades have gotten so much cheaper than they used to be, but good blades are still pretty damn expensive. So let me know down below. You know, if you're paying $400 for a blade, like a lot of blades are here, well then, hey, this thing will pay for itself pretty damn quick. But could you be bothered doing it? Would you rather take it to a professional? Do you just throw your blades away once they're blunt? Let me know down there. Cheers, guys. Have a good one, and I'll see you on another one soon. Oh, look what I've just found. That's just typical, isn't it? If you want to see more of the outtakes and stuff from videos like this, then consider Patreon down there, up in the top corner. These people coming down the side now, they all help support these videos and help me bring these tools to you. If you'd like to help out and you'd like a chance to win some of these tools as well, I'm not going to be giving this one away though, but I do give away tools each month. Check out the link down in the description for Patreon, and I'll see you all next time.